Corraine and welcome back to my channel at Corraine Choo Realty. Today, we are breaking down the upcoming launch at Lentor Garden Residences in District 26. Mention Lentor to anyone right now and the knee-jerk reaction is one word: oversupply. There are a total of 11 land plots slated for residential development in the Lentor area, and we are currently heading into plot number 7. Let me give you an overview of what is happening in the Lentor area. The transformation of this area began with the very first plot of land, Lentor Modern, an integrated mixed-use development, which had attained its TOP and people are already moving in. Then we have Lentor Hills Residences, Lentoria, Lentor Mansion, Hillock Green, Lentor Central Residences, and now, finally, Lentor Garden Residences. Corraine has secured the latest GLS plot in March 2026, and together with 3 more future sites that are still currently unreleased. We are looking at a mega pristine township that will house around 5,000 new private residential units. On top of that, critics will point out that this specific plot sits the closest to the industrial buildings amongst the plots of land around the Lentor Hillock Park. But if you actually look at the land data, it reveals a completely different story. This might just be the most fascinating plot of all. Why? Because while people tell you property prices only go up, the land bids here just drop a massive truth bomb. We are looking at the land cost of $920 per square foot per plot ratio. To put that into perspective, that is almost $300 per square foot cheaper than the first plot of land, Lentor Modern, which was awarded at $1,204 per square foot per plot ratio. But the real shocker, the most recent Lentor Central plot, right next to the shopping mall, just closed at $1,278 per square foot per plot ratio by Corraine, a staggering 39% premium over this site. Why pay tomorrow's prices when you can enter at today's lowest baseline? Long story short, now is your tactical time machine to buy back into 2022 land prices. If you follow market trends closely and look at how major developers strategically price their assets, this gap gives us an incredible clear blueprint. Having recently sold a unit at Springleaf Residences and helping other clients secure units at Lentor Garden Residences at approximately $2,100 plus per square foot, justifying value is about ignoring the hype over the noise and spotting the price disparity. If you want to learn how to make asset decisions based on cold, hard facts instead of online hype, do me a quick favor and hit the like and subscribe button on my YouTube channel, or share this with your family members and friends who are looking to navigate the property market. It helps the channel immensely and gives me the encouragement to keep churning out quality content like this. Here is today's project analysis. We are doing a rapid-fire project snapshot, breaking down a realistic affordability price matrix, looking at the 3 reasons why people will not buy, and finally to see if this development is a buy or a pass. Let's dive straight into today's video. The full project details aren't 100% out yet at the point of filming, but here's what we know about Lentor Garden Residences so far. Location is at Lentor Gardens in District 26. Developer is by Kingsford Development. Total units is 499 residential units. This breaks down into 496 typical apartments and, interestingly, 3 rare strata terraces. Site area is roughly 200,000 square feet of land. Tenure and density: 99 years leasehold with a low density plot ratio of 2.1. The spoiled Singaporean perk. Car light zones are common these days, but we are only a comfortable 300 to 400 meter stroll to Lentor MRT station. Yet, word on the ground is that the developer is providing free shuttle service for its first year anyway. You probably won't even need it, but it's good to have. Here is the estimated price matrix. Quick disclaimer, official indicator prices are not out yet, but the developers have promised to start from $2,050 per square foot. I'm using an average of $2,200 per square foot conservatively as a realistic baseline as shown. Take a look at these numbers as compared to Lentor Modern. For the 2 bedrooms, Lentor Modern is priced at $1.48 million versus Lentor Garden estimated average of $1.42 million. For the 3 bedrooms, Lentor Modern is going at $2.23 million to $2.8 million versus Lentor Garden at $1.19 million to $2.53 million. For 4 bedrooms, Lentor Modern is going at $3.4 million to $3.5 million versus Lentor Garden at $2.6 million to $3.39 million. And the 3 strata terrace units that none of the other development offers, estimated pricing is around $3.29 million. Okay, let's dive into the 3 reasons why people will not buy into Lentor Garden. Let's look at the not so good perspective first. If you talk to anyone trying to find an excuse not to enter the market, these are the most common reasons that they will tell you. Oversupply. With so many projects launching back-to-back in the same Lentor area, people are concerned about competing with thousands of neighboring units when it comes to future resale or tenancy demand. MRT distance. Within the cluster of Lentor developments, Lentor Gardens sits at the far end of Lentor Hillock Park, slightly further away from the Lentor MRT station compared to the other plots. Industrial facing. The southern and eastern edges faces towards the clean industrial and logistic buildings, leading to concern over view clearance and creates a psychological hurdle. Before we look at why people will buy, let's debunk these 3 myths using actual performance market data. Myth 1. There is an oversupply in the Lentor area. This takes me all the way back to 2022, when I was heavily involved in the launch of Lentor Modern. People were already screaming oversupply because CCR condos like Copa and Newton were priced at similar levels around 2,000 plus per square foot. Fast forward 4 years later, those same people who told you not to buy are still sitting on the fence. Ask them what they eventually bought. If they bought nothing or chose a stagnant resale property, didn't it just set them back financially for the wrong reasons? Today, sub-sale and early resale transactions at Lentor Modern are already crossing 2,400 per square foot to about 2,500 plus per square foot against their entry prices of 1,900 to 2,200 per square foot, netting these groups of first movers great profit margins. The market has completely absorbed the premium. If you enter Lentor Gardens at the estimated average of 2,200 per square foot, when sub-sales next door are hitting 2,400 to 2,500 per square foot, are you not buying into an asset with immediate built-in equity safety net? Here is an info nugget to share with all of you out there about oversupply. Do you know which MRT station has the most number of private residential units within a 500 meters radius of an MRT station? And what are the annualized gains? To my surprise, it's actually the Great World Station. It has a count of more than 5,800 private residential units within a 500 meter radius, yet the average annualized gains is pretty healthy at 2.56%. On the flip side, we can look at an ultra-exclusive and prestigious area, Marina Bay. There are only a total of 1,400 units, a much higher scarcity when compared to Great World. Can you guess if the average annualized gains for Marina Bay is higher or lower than Great World? Marina Bay clocked in with just 1.1% average annualized gains. When we look at the broader data across Singapore, a fascinating pattern emerges. Supply alone does not dictate your profit. As you can see, high density doesn't necessarily hinder growth. Areas like Lakeside with 3,700 units, Punggol with 3,100 units, and Queenstown with 3,800 units are recording average annualized gains of 3.93%, 3.92%, and 3.76% respectively. It doesn't guarantee growth either. Areas like Dakota with 3,500 units clocking in at 2.56%, or Newton 4,300 units at 1.76%. If you take Sengkang with 1,900 units versus Havelock with 1,200 units, or Toa Payoh with 1,000 units, despite having a much higher unit count, the gains for Sengkang is at 2.83%, while for Havelock and Toa Payoh is only at 2.33% and 2.4%, even though they have a lower density. There is no automatic correlation between actual density numbers and their returns. It has more to do with the specific township and whether the demand for the area is strong or not. Strong demand areas like Queenstown and Punggol, even with high density, still have people coming in to buy. So if fewer units don't necessarily guarantee higher profits, what actually drives capital appreciation? Why are dense estates like Lakeside and Punggol crushing the market? Scarcity does not automatically equal profit. It all boils down to 2 things: transaction volume and entry quantum. A large cluster of units actually creates a healthy, continuous stream of transactions one after another. That constant buying and selling is exactly what sets the new, higher price benchmarks for your home. Every time your neighbor sells their unit for a higher price, your valuation instantly goes up. Conversely, in highly scarce areas like Marina Bay, the entry price is already high and transactions are rare. The same applies to the Newton area, where the majority of owners prefer to rent out their units due to the proximity to town. Without a steady flow of units changing hands, prices stagnate. Do not let the oversupply myth scare you out when you can secure a unit with a highly profitable entry price. Myth 2 is too far from the MRT. A 350-meter walk is roughly a 4 to 5 minute stroll at a normal pace, or at my own pace. This short distance is actually an advantage for privacy. I work with many buyers who actually deliberately avoid integrated developments simply because of the heightened foot traffic. Being set back from the main area means you're shielded from the heavy retail traffic, bus space, noises, and more congestion. You get direct side gate access to the future Hillock Park. All you have to do is just to walk up the slope and down the slope through a beautifully manicured green space, and you're right at the MRT concourse. It provides a level of peace and quiet that integrated high-traffic blocks simply cannot offer. Myth 3. The industrial facing is ugly. There is a linear park acting as a natural buffer between the development and Lentor Garden Residences, providing an additional layer of separation and privacy. It's important to remember that property developers are not amateurs. When they acquire a land parcel, they are already fully aware of the site's strengths and challenges. The master plan, block positioning, and architectural orientation are carefully designed to maximize the best views while mitigating potential drawbacks. For the north-facing stacks, residents will enjoy direct views towards the expansive greenery of Hillock Park, offering a tranquil and lush outlook. For the south-facing stacks, while they overlook the industrial zone, it is worth noting that these are predominantly clean, low-rise B1 business parks used for logistics, storage, and light industrial activities, not heavy manufacturing or smoke-emitting factories. In addition, units from approximately the 8th floor and above will clear these low-rise buildings, opening up to sweeping views of the vast Lentor landed enclave and the greenery. Given the low-density nature of these buildings, the view is likely to remain largely unblocked for the foreseeable future. Conversely, stacks below the 8th floor may present an interesting value proposition. These units are typically priced at a more attractive discount, allowing buyers to enter the development at a lower quantum while still benefiting from the project's overall growth potential. Are you enjoying the breakdown so far? If you are, do subscribe to the channel. I analyze and share data-backed real estate videos on projects and market sentiments. Subscribing to my YouTube channel will ensure that you do not miss out when a new video is dropped and helps me bring more unfiltered ground data. Now, let us explore why people will buy Lentor Garden Residences. First, the entry point. To determine whether your entry price is ideal, we first have to do a comparative analysis on the surrounding projects in the area. Let me show you the land cost of all the Lentor projects launched so far. As you can see right here, Lentor Garden Residences actually secured the lowest land bid in the area at just 920 per square foot per plot ratio. While this is good news, I will also want to caution you that just because a developer got the land cheap does not mean that they have to sell it cheap, especially when they know that the very next plot bidded by Land was secured at a 1,278 per square foot per plot ratio. Let us analyze the developer's playbook. If you have been watching the market, you will know Kingsford's strategy. They usually price units incredibly attractive at the front of the launch to get the crowd in, and then they increase the prices as momentum builds. Remember Momentum Park? It was launched at a super attractive price at the beginning, but subsequently, towards the tail end, prices were increased. A more recent example, remember Trump Park? We saw prices revise upwards multiple times throughout the launch day itself. Now, take a look at this summary I've put together. The majority of projects in this enclave are sitting in the 2,000 to 2,400 per square foot region. Lentor is a fascinating case study right now because the launches are back to back. Some of these plots fall into the pre-GFA harmonization era, while others are fully affected by it. By the way, if you want to understand exactly how GFA harmonization impacts you as a buyer or as a seller, go check out my other video where I break that down in detail. Coming back to the numbers on the screen, you see, Lentor Central got their land at 982 per square foot per plot ratio, and Lentorer at 1,130 per square foot per plot ratio, yet both started selling from 1,900 per square foot. Meanwhile, Hillock Green has a land cost of $1,108 per square foot per plot ratio, but launched at one of the lowest starting prices at $1,700 per square foot. What does this tell you? Land cost does not dictate launch price in a straight line. Here is a more crucial data point. Lentor modern resale prices have already touched the 2,500 per square foot mark as shown earlier. This shows that the market demand absorption is there. Buyers are willing to pay. Think about your margin of safety. If you are one of the early movers who can secure Lentor Gardens at an entry price in the 2,000 to 2,100 per square foot range, you are sitting on a surefire buffer of $400 per square foot. One important point many buyers overlook is the difference between non-harmonized and harmonized developments. Take Lentor Modern as an example. As a non-harmonized development, its transacted resale price of $2,596 per square foot is based on a floor area that includes the aircon ledge. When you
adjust for GFA harmonization, assuming about 7% of the area, roughly 70 square feet of a 1000 square feet unit, is attributed to the aircon ledge. The equivalent price works out to be approximately $2,777 per square foot, based on pure livable space. In contrast, Lentor Gardens is a harmonized project. This means the advertised floor area already excludes the aircon ledge, so every square foot you are paying for is absolute usable living space. Yet, prices are only starting from around $2,050 per square foot. There's a gap of an astonishing $727 per square foot when comparing on a like-for-like harmonized basis. In other words, you're entering the Lentor market at a significantly lower effective price, while paying only for actual livable space, not areas like the aircon ledge that you're not able to fully utilize.
One thing I can tell you with absolute certainty, buying the land cheap does not mean that the developer will have to sell you cheap. But when the developer buys the land high, that certainly means that they cannot go lower than their base cost. At the higher land cost of 1,278 per square foot per plot ratio for the next plot, I can't really say how much they will launch, but I can tell you that it's unlikely to go below 2,300 per square foot, which is their break-even price. In other words, your entry price today is structurally protected by the high land cost of tomorrow. Secondly, appeal. How is the appeal like for that area? What are buyers looking for when they come and look at Lentor area? What made them willing to put down millions for a home in this area? Lentor is definitely more of an own stay area, and what do families care about? Most of the time, it can be summarized into three main points: the future of their children, connectivity, and the immediate lifestyle for themselves. They want to be near good schools, and they also want absolute convenience. We are located within a 1 kilometer radius of Anderson Primary School and 2 kilometer radius of CHIJ St. Nicholas Girls School. Combine that with the fact that Lentor Modern Shopping Mall and Lentor MRT is already fully operational, where you can enjoy premium lifestyle infrastructure ready from day one. Third, future demand and exit strategy. Who are you going to sell to in 5 to 10 years' time? Lentor was intentionally opened up by the Ministry of National Development because mature estates like Ang Mo Kio and Yio Chu Kang have a massive shortage of new private residential land. According to PropNext research, there are over 5,000 HDB flats hitting their MOP in the surrounding clusters. These are owners sitting on highly profitable million-dollar HDB assets looking to upgrade, but majority would still prefer to remain near their home territory. They want to stay near their parents, their favorite hawker centers, and their familiar comfort zone. The Lentor area is the next modern upgrade they have been waiting for. But it doesn't stop there. You also have a second wave of buyers, affluent business owners moving down from the north areas like Yishun, Sembawang, and Woodlands, who want a more premium, prestigious address and to be closer to town. And finally, don't forget the wealthy landed property owners from the nearby Thompson enclaves. As they age, a landed property may become too big for them and they want to downsize. They don't want to climb stairs anymore, but they still want a single-level luxury lifestyle in an area that they love and are familiar with. When you look at this ecosystem, your exit demographic isn't just a guess, it is rock solid. You have wealthy HDB upgraders, affluent business owners, and cash-rich landed downgraders all funneling right into Lentor. That is how you secure a winning exit. At the end of the day, the property market never rewards spectators. There will always be one group of people telling you why your project is overpriced, another group telling you why you should wait for a crash, and another telling you why you should only buy cheap resale. These are usually the exact same people who end up doing absolutely nothing, while inflation eats away at their cash reserves and property prices drift further away from their goals. The skeptical people who sat on the fence in 2022 crying oversupply are the same ones watching early Lentor modern buyers lock in six-figure capital gains today. Now, I'm not saying blindly buy into this project, because the price, stack, facing are all important considerations to determine if a unit is a good buy or a great buy or a no buy. If you have been jumping from video to video but still lack absolute clarity on what your 5 to 10 year property game plan should look like, let's work on that. You can set up with me a private one-to-one data-driven consultation to plan your property portfolio and build a roadmap that actually works for you. Feel free to reach out to me, Corraine, at 88-826-826 if you're serious about taking action. Thank you so much for watching until the very end. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with a friend who is house hunting. Once again, I'm Corraine, your trusted real estate advisor, help you navigate every property move with confidence and clarity. This is Corraine Choo Realty signing off. Clarity, strategy, results. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!